That looked like a hostage video, didn't it?
It looked like
Jason Kidd was sitting there. I guess Nico was still on the scene.
Yeah,
Nico
yeah.
Harrison. And Kidd sitting there next to him, and they're in the aftermath, like the day after they traded Luka Doncic, and he literally looked like they're the old reveal that we talk about with Hank Aaron, talking about the Barry Bonds breaking his record, where they pull back and there are two guys with ski masks on and machine guns pointed at his head. As he says, "Well, yeah, I also saw this as a good move."
He's making no facial expressions. Like,
Take a guy out of the lineup who's averaging 40 points a game
just went to the
and
finals.
throws in the other two stats for a triple-double as a matter of routine, even though he doesn't look like his vertical leap is more than a half inch. He's still grabbing 12 rebounds a game. How the hell is he doing that? He dishes off 12 assists and doesn't miss in the clutch. Sure, we're getting rid of that guy.
He's like, we just play with the guys we have. He looks scared.
That was one of the all-time phony press conferences. You know how we love it.
So
but, I mean, he looked stunned. He looked like he was on massive amounts of sedatives to sit down there and not be enraged the entire time.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Certainly ranks up there in the history of bogus press conferences, doesn't it, Mike Lubie Lubitz? Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you guys. Jason Kidd, now they have denied, the Dallas Mavericks have denied the Knicks the opportunity to speak with him, at least for now, unless he, would he have to resign his position? I don't know that that would work out either. But, and everybody in the league has said, hey, listen, New York Knicks, go bleep yourself.
Yep.
We're talking to our coach. You had them looking for Chris Finch. That's not happening. Billy Donovan, that's not happening. Quinn Snyder, that's not happening.
Jesus.
So what are they? I mean, what are they going to do? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't the best of moves to get rid of Thibodeau. At least they had a guy that they knew that could take them to the Eastern Conference Finals and get a lot of mileage out of these guys. What's next? I don't know. It doesn't really. I'm not sure that it's of any great concern because I'm with you on this one, Lubie. I don't believe the Knicks have championship caliber material.
No.
And that brings us to last night's game, which was absolutely great. If you were going to enjoy a basketball game, and we love this when it happens, when everybody is dead wrong, it's absolutely the most incredible feeling that you could possibly get as any kind of person that comments on sports and does any kind of commentary. Now, I don't know. We were right there on the bandwagon, right? OKC in 5 was a knee-jerk reaction.
I felt it going 6, but it wasn't this 6. It was like OKC would go up 3-1, and then maybe the Pacers win that game 5 to make it a game 6. But you know that the Thunder are going to win it. Like, I never thought the Pacers would have 2 different leads in this series. Like, never.
Unbelievable. They're setting the pace, literally. The name is very appropriate. They set the pace in the game last night, although they were getting hammered after the first quarter, and they also had an ugly third quarter.
Yep.
Where they ended up down 5 going to the fourth. I won't forget this because I think this sort of represents what the series is all about right now, where you have the Pacers ahead 2-1. A good friend of mine, Cliff Collier, who at one time was a waiter at various restaurants where I used to take my first-time starters, and he always treated me very well. One of them was a place called Joseph's. We used to get the some kind of tortellini, and he would take care of me, and it looked like I was a big shot. The girl usually was intrigued by the idea that, hey, everybody seems to know this guy. That was great. And Cliff made sure that everything went very, very well. Nice. So he gives that up to become a jockey agent and always had a background in racing. He ends up with a jockey, Elvis the Pelvis Trujillo, who did very well for himself, really dominated. They went up to Monmouth Park, and he dominated there. And became sort of, I guess you would say, in that second tier of jockeys, outside probably of the top 20, 25, but right there, knocking on the door. Won a Breeders' Cup race with this guy. So well-respected and always had some kind of, how do you, can you actually characterize this as inside information? Because you could talk to somebody about every horse in every race at any racetrack in the country, and somebody will tell you, oh, yeah, the trainer said this one's a good one today. But I remember him coming up to me at Gulfstream Park one day. I wasn't having a particularly good streak. And he says, I have a horse for you today that cannot lose.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, I could use one of those. That's for sure. And figuring this guy's on the backstretch, he might know. And the name of the horse, I'll never forget, had lost its opening maiden effort, was still in the maiden category, went off at a little over even money that day, like 7-5, wins for fun, and went on to become a pretty good racehorse. And it stands out to me because that's exactly what I thought after last night's game, Indiana and OKC. It's game on, dude, my friends. All those people that thought that OKC was a cinch are scratching their heads and wondering if they. And think about this. Imagine the treachery, Lubie. If you had laid 700 to win 100, thinking that OKC was a cinch. Now, they may well go on, win the next 3 games, and win the series. That's entirely possible. It's not like they're not competitive and weren't competitive in this game. Hell, they had a 5-point lead going to the fourth quarter. Indiana, though, has shown that late game resilience that we were talking about with FAU a couple of years ago when they went to the Final Four, where just when it looks like they're about to incur the knockout blow at the hands of the opposition, they find a way to rally and come back. And they did it last night, end up winning in a runaway, 116 to 107. And now it's 2-1 Indiana, which is a position, as you said, Lubie. I don't know that anybody anticipated that. I thought probably OKC wins game 3. Indiana, maybe, like you said, salvages game 4. OKC goes back home, wins that game 5, and then wraps it up in game 6. That would have made some sense, even after losing the first one.
Yeah.
But strong all-around performance by the Indiana Pacers. My God, where do these guys come from? Halliburton finally had one of those superstar type of games, although it wasn't that far out of line with what he's been doing, and yet he was a much more imposing presence
Yes.
in this ball game than he had been in the previous ones. Now, we did have the game-winning shot in game number 1, so you can't discount that. But he was having a modest game by any standards, much less a guy that's been anointed as one of the top players in the NBA and one of those guys that's going to carry a team. He ends up last night with what? 22 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists. Nice all-around ball game.
Yes.
Siakam, who was a hell of a pickup, overlooked by many people. But was talking about the Knicks trade, Randall for Karl Anthony Towns, but few people really noticed much or said much about Siakam going to the Indiana Pacers. Siakam was always a very reliable player, maybe not in that star status. He was a secondary consideration to Kawhi Leonard when he was with the Toronto Raptors when they won a championship. But, wow, big ball game by Siakam. And then the X factor was this Benedict Mathurin. Off the bench, Lubie. With a phenomenal ball game, 27 points. So he was the main stimulus and impetus for Indiana last night. SGA, a modest 24 by his standards, not really overwhelming. Jalen Williams had 26 in a game, Holmgren 20. So if you just looked at that on the surface and you said, hey, you're going to have 3 guys on Oklahoma City with 20 points plus, and they were going to have the first quarter lead. What was it? They were up by a substantial margin.
They were by at least
the first quarter, 32-24. So they were up 8 after 1. And you were looking at that and thinking, this is going to be just a routine thing. The NBA, Adam Silver, that one hair, he's going to have to pull it out of his head because was he sitting with a network executive yesterday? Was that what was happening?
I think so.
Guy says, hey, listen, Adam, you're going to sit right next to me and explain this to me. How we invested all of this money in the rights for the NBA, and you give me Indiana and Oklahoma City and what's supposed to be a blowout. An incredible mismatch. And sure enough, here you go. So you have Indiana up 2-1. What chance do you give, Lubie, those bettors that were bold enough to take plus 550 on the Pacers in the series to actually go ahead and close this out? Because you now have, do you not have a situation, a pivotal game 4, and could we call this must win for Oklahoma City? It's possible.
Oh yeah. I mean, you don't want to get down 3-1. I just don't see a world where they do. I don't look. I don't know if they're as scary as people make them out to be. What we said, and even I said it, was they're the sum of their parts. Like if you look at them individually, they're not one of these all-time great teams. They have one superstar, and then they have a bunch of really good. They have 2 guys that are all-star caliber-ish. Holmgren and Williams, and then they have a bunch of, like, if you look, we've talked about it, if you look at their actual roster, most people have never heard of most of the people that they have. It's NBA like enthusiasts who know how good those players are. Dort and Caruso, like people are Hartenstein. They're solid players, but they're not even really good players. They're just guys that do their job. So it's not, and we said they're not the Warriors, they're not the Bulls, they're not even the Heat. They're not this great team. They're just a team that plays really well together, and they just find a way to beat you great defensively and play smart offensively. And that just seemed like that was going to be a little bit too much for the Pacers in the long run. But look, we said the Pacers feel like a light version of them, right? They go deep. They have stars that aren't. They have one guy that's a borderline superstar. They have two other guys that have been all-star caliber players in Turner and Siakam in their careers. And they have a bunch of other guys that, again, most people wouldn't have heard them. NBA enthusiasts like them. So that's why it felt like, okay, this could go 6 and the Thunder will win. I just sort of feel that. Like, I feel like the Thunder, there's still this other, like, the bench did nothing. And they have a good bench. If you look, again, their names, most people don't know, but they're guys that are key contributors. They didn't do anything last night. Mathurin going for 27, like these are things, again, these are offshoot things. Halliburton had a strong game, and it still was an average game. It just, he did it earlier. Instead of waiting to the second half to get involved, he got involved in the first half and just sort of helped be the straw that stirred the drink. I honestly feel the Thunder are going to win the next 3 games. Like, that's just what this series I think is going to be, but it at least feels like a series now. I don't think
they're dude, as I said. I mean,
it's not going to be 40 blowouts every game. I think the next game they are. I think they're going to hammer them the next game because they're not going to give the Pacers any idea that this is their series. But the Pacers are in it. It's more of a series than any of us thought, and it's why when you can pay $700 to win 100, you don't, because it's sports, and the idea of winning $100 isn't worth the off chance of an upset happening, because upsets do happen.
Anything can happen, right? I mean, SGA sprains an ankle in game 1, and now you can throw your 700 right out just drive down A1A and throw the $700 right out the window, because you would be at a complete loss at that point. Very interesting though. That was great. Crowd unbelievable last night in India.
Oh yeah.
Have we? I mean, it's been a while since we've had that level of intensity. I mean, watching Heat games during the course of the regular season, the Heat crowd is generally a pretty good one in terms of noise. That wasn't always the case here in South Florida, where the fans tend to sit on their hands. That's not happening at most Heat games. But as the Heat started to demonstrate that they didn't really have it, you did not have that level. I know it's the playoffs and it's the finals, and it was their first home game. And how many times has Indiana been to the finals? Is it just 1 or 2 times that they've been to the finals, Lubie? I want to say what? They were there with Reggie Miller, obviously. Never won a championship. So you have that at stake. They had to be thirsty for a home game after watching the first 2 in Oklahoma City. And then there was a bit of a layoff before they played game 3. But the crowd definitely was something that you thought had some kind of impact on that. And then the cliche is fairly applicable in this one, especially with Mathurin leading the scoring with 27 points. And I don't even know if he played 25 minutes in this game. So he was doing better than a point a minute off the bench, was hitting virtually everything, a variety of shots also, and seemed to be in perfect symmetry with everything else that they were doing. McConnell came on and it was strong. How's this 5'11" white guy being such a big factor in the series? He hadn't been that much of a factor until in this game. When what? I mean, could a guy have had a more effective game? Getting, what did he have? Like 10 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists in a game, but definitely provided a spark. Was a catalyst in what could happen for Indiana. But yeah, I mean, the cliche is applicable that bench players seem to do much better at home. Role players seem to fill their role much more successfully when they're home, and where they were sort of an outside factor in the 2 games in Oklahoma City. Those guys were a major impactful catalyst type of influence in this ballgame. So 2-1, Indiana in the lead. I think that's a shock for a lot of people, and we'll see what happens, because it certainly puts a lot of pressure, a big onus on Oklahoma City to bounce back. I don't know if I see them winning 3 in a row, Louis. I think maybe if you look at these 2 teams, they're somewhat of a mirror image of each other, are they not?
They're close, yeah. They're closer than people give them credit.
Yeah, I mean, we might have badly underestimated the Indiana Pacers and just conceding that, hey, save your money. even though you can make $100 by putting up 700 on Oklahoma City, just keep it in your pocket and sit back and enjoy the fact that you would have been right had you put the money up, but certainly not worth the risk. So, basket's good last night. You have the Cats going against the Oilers tonight. Once again, pivotal game 4, Lubie, because a pivotal game 3 set up a pivotal game 4. And off what we saw, and this has happened in the NHL playoffs as much as it has in the NBA, where a team gets hammered one game and then comes back and wins the next one. Hard to foresee Edmonton winning this game tonight, and yet, or it's tomorrow night, right? The game is tomorrow night, the Cats and the Oilers. But
No,
wow,
don't they play tonight?
yeah, I think they play Thursday night.
They
So,
play tonight. Yeah, they play tonight.
yeah, that's right. Oh, it is Thursday. That's right.
Today, I know the weeks moved weird. Today is Thursday. The Panthers and the Oilers play tonight.
Play tonight. Okay, all right.
That was the extra day off so that the finals could be separated. Which
Why does the NHL play a redheaded stepchild to the NBA? Wouldn't you just go ahead and put your product out there?
I would have.
You really need to take a day off in consideration. I mean, what do they wait for the NBA playoff schedule to come out before they start posting the schedule for these games? But do you envision a turnaround here? I mean, it seems to me, even if Edmonton plays a pretty tight game, you would have to think they'd be better than they were in game number 3 because they were horrible in game 3. But I'm thinking, I don't know. I have a ridiculous amount of confidence that the Panthers kind of demonstrated their superiority in game number 3, emerging from those 2 overtime games in Edmonton. And I don't know. I mean, is this a premature evaluation that they would find themselves up 3-1 going back to Edmonton with a chance then what three chances to go ahead and close out the series? You would have to think Stanley Cup is coming here. No.
I'm not getting ahead of myself. We've seen the Panthers ebb and flow in these playoffs, and this is the best combatant they will have faced. So, as we saw in the first couple of games, if they don't bring that ferocious, and you can just see the way they played in that game versus the other 2 games. If they don't bring that, then I don't know if the Oilers will dominate them, but the Oilers can definitely get a victory. I don't know what Panthers we're going to see until the game starts. Like that's the thing, is as great as they are, because that's the thing, they don't have to play that game and they can still find a way to win. They won 1 out of the 2 and could have won both games playing not their style, playing more passive, allowing more action in the neutral zone. They still found a way to win. However, if they play like that, knowing then the league can beat them. I mean, and that's why they were a favorite most of this season before the last month, when the suspension of Ekblad and the injury Kachuk, and then getting Marchand, who was then injured, sort of derailed them from going after a 1 or a 2 seed. They ended up getting a 5th seed. But when they're healthy, they're playing their game. It's well known they're the best team in hockey. Do they play that game? They don't always play that game. It's hard. It probably is very hard to play that ferocious for as long as they do. Like this last game, they did it the entire game. This last game, there was no let up, and the Oilers looked like a team that was playing a team with no let up. That's not every game. So I presume they won't do that again for an entire game, and the Oilers will have a chance to win. I don't know who to pick in this game. I really can see it going either way. Like a lot of me feels like what you just said could be true. The Panthers played good enough, strong enough. The Oilers have sort of met their match, and the Panthers pull away and get a 3-1 lead. But I can also see them screwing around with McDavid and Draisaitl again, and then it's nip and tuck until the end. And that's when Bobrovsky scares me, because when the other team is highly involved and active, he gives up 2 to 3 stupid ass goals.
I don't think 2 guys, no matter how good they are going to beat the Florida.
They shouldn't be able to. They shouldn't be able to.
Yeah. You have what? Bouchard hasn't really been doing that much. But
I don't know.
Yeah, they're just not as deep as the Florida Panthers in terms of guys that can actually make something happen. And this Marchand addition has been beyond phenomenal. So this is not good, Louis. I'm carrying a heavy dose of confidence about this game tonight. So what's the final going to be? 4-0 Edmonton? Bobrovsky looks like a clown in there. He's been good in spite of the fact that Edmonton
great.
put some goals on the board. But They definitely were stymied in game number 3. And I'm just thinking that sitting here in their hometown and staying at home and Edmonton having to, you would have to be questioning what the hell happened in game number 3. Maybe they don't do that in the NHL. They just have a different kind of composure, and the makeup of the players is not the type where they're going to sit there and kvetch over the fact that they were lousy in game 3, just shake it right off. Is that possible? But great opportunity tonight for the Florida Panthers and their fans. I did see one car with flags on it yesterday driving down A1A.
Wow.
That was nice to see. We haven't had that spirit here since 1996, right? It's been a long, long time, 1996. All right. Are you aware of a guy named, what's this guy's? Maxwell Moldavin. Maxwell Moldavin.
Not really.
What does that mean to you? Anything? Moldavin?
That means nothing.
Nothing. Well, he was the early leader in the U.S. Open.
Oh, wow. No idea. Okay.
Eagles the first hole. Eagles it. So he's 2 under after 1. But unfortunately, this course, everybody's talking about how treacherous it is. I don't know if you saw the picture where all the players were out there with lawnmowers trying to mow the rough, facetiously mowing the rough, which this is one of those courses. It's like the old, well, you weren't around when this course was Hollywood Lakes, where I used to play a lot of golf because it was $5 to go out there. You had to walk the course. I don't even think they rented carts. And the course was literally, I mean, it just seemed like it was a cover-up of swampland, which it probably was, I guess, at that time, because there was nothing west of University Drive here in South Florida. And this course was west. It was the cheapest course you could play. It was mostly crabgrass. And it wasn't uncommon. You could hit your best drive of your life. Maybe you were approaching 285, even 300 and change. Stripe one right down the middle of the fairway, and you wouldn't be able to find your ball. It would be buried. I mean, just in muck. So, and of course, that's where one of my favorite rules to invoke was developed, and that was called lie improvement, where no matter where the ball was, you were figuring, okay, this course is so awful that you should be able to tee up the ball in the fairway, which you pretty much had to do. Oakmont is outside of Pittsburgh, I guess, and is supposed to be one of the most difficult courses anybody plays. Dustin Johnson was talking about how unfair it was, and all these guys were bellyaching and bemoaning the fact that they're going to have to play under these arduous conditions, which make it almost impossible. So this guy, Moldavin, who was an Ohio State kid, and he has one pro win, and that was like in Guam or something. And relatively young on the tour. I mean, you wouldn't expect much of this guy. So he eagles the first hole. He gets a 2 on a par 4, the first hole.
Oh, my God.
And then he's on the second hole, and he's in a trap on his tee shot, par 4. Hits a shot, and this should never happen, Lubie, to any amateur or duffer or the average hacker that goes out there for a recreational round. I always hate this. When you hit a shot that lands right in the middle of the green, and then it either ends up in the water or, in this case, it spins back just a little bit, just has a little bit of rotation on the ball. And that was enough to trigger it to go 50 yards off the green.
Yeah, see, that's insane. I think that's so annoying.
I mean, you plop one right in the middle of the green, and the next thing you know, you're 50 yards short.
It's so hard to hit a good shot. You finally hit a good shot. You're like stoked, and then you're like, what the hell?
All right, so he's falling off the pace here. He was setting the pace at 1 under par after 1 hole. And he now finds himself at even par through 3. So that hole must have taken a toll on him. I always love this when there's early morning sports action. I don't really have a great view of a TV from this location I'm broadcasting from, but so I don't have it on. But you do have the field out there, and there are several players, a handful of players that are already under par, which most people were thinking that there was going to be, a total of maybe 5 under might win the tournament, maybe less than that, where they make the conditions so impossible that even the pros are brought to their proverbial knees. So we'll see what happens. But that also makes for a wide open play. Your man Rory McIlroy is already 1 under through 2 holes, so that's a good sign. Ludwig Oberg is 1 under, and you have a lot of players that have yet to tee off, but many heavyweights already out there on the course. Let's see, who's blown a gasket? Anybody yet? +3 is so far the highest total posted of the players that are out there on the course. 45 players out there on the course, and you have 4 guys there that are already 3 over par. So sayonara to most of them, you would have to think, unless they stage an incredible rally. I don't know. I mean, are you going to follow this tournament? I love all of the majors in golf. I'm a giant golf fan. There's nothing better than watching a tournament that comes down to the wire there in the final holes. If you can get by, has Jim Nance become an insufferable suck up
Mhm.
and just drama queen? I mean, and the suction that he provides with the verbiage that he throws. I mean, can you talk about Scotty Scheffler and any other? Is there anything about him that would be interesting besides the fact that everybody thinks he's great? I
No
don't
doubt.
know. He showed a little personality after he won the PGA. That was the most we saw. It wasn't much, but showed a little bit of personality there. But yeah, always great fun, and especially when they make the conditions so horrendous that it is the great equalizer. It's kind of like the red clay is for a lot of players on the tennis
Yep.
circuit, where it is veritable quicksand for many of the great players. Although we did see possibly, I mean, going back to that, it's always easy to think that the latest thing that you saw was the best of it, but was that that would have to be qualified as one of the great tennis matches of all time?
Oh
No,
yeah, yeah. They said
Alcaraz and Sinner.
it's the second longest Grand Slam final or second longest Grand Slam match ever. Like, and it was not poorly played. It was long because there were long rallies, 2 great players playing at their peak,
They were
and
knocking the
neither's
crap out of the ball.
in their prime yet. Both are it's 22 and 23 years old. Like these guys are actually still, especially as men, still figuring it out. That's what's impressive about these two is tennis was looking for what's next as Rafa, if not done, pretty much done. Roger Federer is done. Joker isn't.
Rafa's done. He retired.
Rafa's done. Federer's done. Joker isn't done. I mean, made it to the semis and he looked really good this tournament, but
Amazing. Yeah.
they're doing that thing where they're like, oh my God, look at him. This may be one of the last time, he's getting to that
Magic
place.
Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar tour, where they give him a car, somebody puts him, they give him a new piano, whatever, every time he lines up. No, that's pretty incredible that he's able to execute at this level, Djokovic, and be that big of a factor. Getting to the semifinals at the French Open, I don't think the red clay was ever his favorite surface. It certainly was Rafa Nadal, and there are guys you would figure these Latin players probably have the best advantage on that. Although we're seeing a big, strong presence of Italians on red clay as well. And the American men, unfortunately, faded. They had a couple of guys get to the quarterfinals. Tommy Paul has been doing real well of late, kind of resurrected his career after being somewhat of a disappointment. And Big Foe, Tiafo, also made it to the quarterfinals. But neither of those guys look like they're going to win Slam championships, do
It's
they?
like Fritz is the guy. Fritz is the guy that's the big, strong dude, and he hasn't shown it yet. I mean, he's like a top 6 seed, and he lost in like the first round. Like, I don't know
KO, yeah.
what you do with a guy like that. But having these 2 young guys, it feels like they'll bring along another generation of like combatant. You need like people to go at each other. Like you had with McEnroe and Borg, and you had even with Sampras and Agassi later in their career, they were very competitive. Early in his career, you had Edberg and Courier who would go at it with Sampras. So you sort of need, and you had that with those 3 guys. So you sort of need that to bring eyeballs to tennis. And it feels like these 2 guys sort of have that rivalry thing burgeoning, which is good for the tennis game.
No doubt about it. And they're both great. And they seem to be real gentlemen, although there was a lot of aspersions cast the way of Sinner, where a lot of people thought that he caught a ridiculous break with the drug thing. I don't know what to make of those international drug investigative bodies, WADA and whatever other initialed body they have that checks on these things, because it does seem bizarre that you could buy some Sudafed over the counter and all of a sudden
That's weird.
you're under some drug investigation. And then the whole idea that somebody else somehow worked it into your system. And then there's also, the Canelo theory, and then Bob Baffert, of course, with the most bizarre one, where somehow the drugs got into his winning racehorse because some groom pissed on the hay in the stall. Nice one, Bobby. I mean, this was a distinguished guy to come up with that. You can't come up with a better excuse than that. You'd be better off, as we said, just having Jill Baffert open her purse and see a bunch of syringes in there. Get the hell out of here. All right, we're going to play the trivia challenge today. A lot of stuff going on, though. Cats Oilers tonight, and that's going to be fun. And then MLB, a bunch of stuff going on as well. But we'll get into some of that if we can, because we want to play the trivia challenge. So let's bring on the man of the hour. And there he is, always looking good, man. Full head of hair. Dave Gurggles Gergely. How are you, my friend?
Good. I just got back from had 16 guys on a golf trip to Orlando. We put in 100 apiece. They handed out money every day for skins, for everything. The last day, I got $5 as an appearance fee. So a little bit tough sledding there.
Now, out of habit, did you resort to doing Beat the Broadcaster? When?
Oh, no. This is 3 days of 18-hole golf with the guys, but one on a
Grand Oaks you were at in Orlando?
No, yeah. One of the guys, actually, Shorty Conley, a buddy of mine from South Boston, had bet 500 on Indianapolis to win the series.
Oh,
at 5-1.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm definitely rooting for him.
No doubt about it. I hope he's betting them every game because they were getting 5.5 points last night, which I thought was pretty.
Yeah, on the ride home from Orlando, he told me, he says 5.5. That sounds like too much. So I'm hoping he put a couple shekels on that for the game.
Money line had to be good. At Grand Oaks, is that the place where they have the really outstanding, like, sort of townhouse bungalows that you can rent?
Well, they do up there. We weren't at. That's Grand Cypress, I think.
Oh, Grand Cypress, that's the one. I was up there for a while.
We actually found a place called Magic Village Views, and it has 4-bedroom, 4-bath villas. So with 16 guys, they're all old guys, don't want to share a bedroom or a bath. It worked out perfect. So it was wonderful. We all watched that and watched the Panthers game. What a terrific game, man! What
a beautiful thing. Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. And now, does this inspire your guys to watch a lot of the U.S. Open, or are you?
Oh, they're all big golf fans. Yeah, they range. I think the youngest guy was a retired policeman, about 50, and the oldest was probably in his late 70s. Actually,
wow!
So yeah, it's a really good, solid group of guys. I have a rule on my trips: no assholes. I deal with them all the time. So
how do you avoid that, though? It's hard to weed them out.
Well,
somebody always has a friend that you consider to be an asshole.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of them, believe me. But no, not on this trip. We were very fortunate in that respect.
Having hung out at various racetracks and been involved in the broadcasting business, you can run into your share.
And we had a great Belmont story. We're sitting at Gulfstream, and we get a call from Doug Saylor, the trainer based at Gulfstream, who's like 1 for 300 his last 4 years. He says that Mott's assistant trainer, one of the girls, came to him while they were talking, and she said to him, Mott said his horse is the best horse he ever trained.
Wow,
so
it certainly appears
I bet 80 and 80 on him. Another guy bet 100 and 100 on him, and boy, he sure proved it.
Yeah, great run. I mean, to mow down journalism like that, absolutely fantastic. People still critical of my man Umberto Rispoli, saying he probably won't get the mount on journalism again because he had 3 bad rides. But I mean, second in the Derby, second in the Belmont, and winning the Preakness.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think he made a bad decision, maybe going inside, but that's second guessing him. But then to get up and win that Preakness, I thought he rode great.
Yeah. So. That was interesting. There's always something to kvetch about, always something to complain about. All right, we're going to come back with the trivia challenge. Dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Lubie is in possession of many outstanding gift certificates that we're giving away, although we're only giving away one of them to our champion. So dial us up if you want to play. Take a shot, either a Landlubbers or Texas Roadhouse gift certificate. That's coming up in a moment with Dave Gurggles Gergely. The trivia challenge gets underway in just a couple of minutes. Now that.
The time.
8:56. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante, the Belmont's now 1.8 miles. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
All right, going to get right to the game, play as many as we can before we hit the wire. We have Dave Gurggles Gergely, and you can dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070 if you'd like to get involved in the trivia challenge. We ready to get it started here, Lubie? Okay, all right. Dave, fire away. Here's our first set of questions.
Some easy baseball. This fiery player turned manager, on a quote often attributed to him about nice guys finishing last, said, "I never did say that you can't be a nice guy and win. I said that if I was playing third base and my mother rounded third with the winning run, I'd probably trip her." What's that? Leo DeRocher, Leo Schnauzer, Leo Gorsey, or Hunts Hall?
One of a kind, Leo DeLip. All right, here's a random phone scrambler. Select our first player. And it lands on Ron, our good friend Ron. Ron, you're on the trivia show. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Well done, Ron.
Hey, it is. Nice job, my friend.
Lubie, have they been winning the Chronics all the time or not?
I don't think so.
Good.
I think
No, we came in like
I think
third or
they were
fourth,
third
I
last
think.
week.
Good.
I
I was with you in spirit that day. Good. All right. Golf, Ron. True or false? The first U.S. Open, ironically, was won by an Englishman. True or false?
Won by what?
An
Won by
English,
who?
an English person, Englishman.
That's true.
Sure. He was hired as a head pro at Newport, Connecticut, in Rhode Island, where he won the event and got
Nice.
$150, I think.
Who's that now? Who was the guy?
It was Horace Rawls.
You know what I was going to say? No, I had no idea. All right.
No, I never-
Very good. An Englishman it was, and you have 2 points going for 5.
All right, NBA, Ron. In June of 1991, Michael Jordan made his first NBA Finals appearance, a winning one, by winning over whom?
Ooh.
The Lakers, the Trailblazers, the Supersonics, or the Rockets?
I think it's the Lakers.
It was
I
like
think you're right. Wow.
Yeah.
end of their
Sharp players to start us out here, going for the sweep out of the chute.
All right, here we go. On June 12th, 1970, supposedly on LSD, Doc Ellis pitched a no-hitter. Who did he beat that day? Was it the Phillies, the Padres, the Reds, or the Mets?
Oh boy. Let's go Phillies.
I just said that too, but we'd
Must
both
say
been
the Reds.
wrong. It was the Padres.
Padres.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, good start, Ron. Hang on, you may be in the final.
Classic story. All right, Ron off to a rocking start here with 5 points. Misses the big 5-point question there at the end for the sweep. 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play. 954-417-0070. If you're here in town in South Florida where we originate the program from, we have a Landlubber's gift certificate. You can catch Lubie's live trivia competition with the professor, which I mean, Gurggles, you've done a lot of this. I mean, you've done all kinds of trivia and been to many, many different competitions, deemed by many to be the finest of its kind.
Oh, this is great because, first of all, you know, you and I have been linked to sports trivia all this time. They do every kind of trivia. And then the neat thing about it is they play a song that either the music or the group relates to the question and give you extra points. It's really thought-provoking, and it gets everybody involved, not just sports nuts. Yep, they do a terrific job. I wouldn't miss it tonight, 6:30 at Landlubbers.
6:30 Landlubbers, great place to watch the game, although you might incur some traffic going out there in Sunrise. I would think a lot of people, this would be the move, too. I mean, stop in at Landlubbers, even if you're going to the game. Get yourself a good meal so you're not paying $32 for a container of fried rice once you get to the American Bank Center and getting clobbered on all the concessions. So Landlubbers is a great spot. And even if you have tickets, you might want to just unload them right there at Landlubbers and stick around. Play the Lubie trivia contest, and you'll be doing it with what? What do you think a ticket goes for this game tonight?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Probably what?
Two, 300 maybe. I don't
few
know.
Hundred in the deck, upper deck, maybe.
Oh, upper deck, yeah, 300 to 500. The lower area is like 900 to $1,000.
Well, see, I know some people that have season tickets. They are being richly rewarded for their faith in the franchise. Here. All right, ready for our next set of questions? We have Ron set in face with 5. Here's our next set of day.
All right, here we go. Hockey. This Olympic coach addressing some of his players after taking the Rangers job said, every day you guys look worse and worse. And today you're playing like it's tomorrow already. Who's that? Herb Brooks, Mel Brooks, Brooks Robinson, or Mrs. Robinson?
Could have been Mel. That sounds like one of his lines. All right, here's a scrambler. And the question for this man is, are you in or out? Andy, how are you, my friend?
I'm still in, but I think they're sending me home because the doctor came to check me out. And he wanted to stick his finger up my butt, and I told him, "No, thanks. You didn't take it for dinner." So,
You didn't take it to dinner.
Whatever it is, I'll live with it. Is that what you told him? Very nice. May not be a long time, but
basically what I told him.
all right. Well, I mean, and thank goodness you bought that timeshare there at Boca West because certainly has come in as a
handy. Yeah, it really has.
accommodation. All right, you have 1 point. You're in the game, my friend.
All right, true or false, Andy? Horse racing. Believe it or not, jockey Ramon Dominguez said he had some superstitions, one of which was once he took off his riding clothes, he was done for the day, even if he was offered a mount in the feature where he was not riding. True or false?
Nah, I'll go with false.
I would say false.
No,
that's true.
That's true. He was very superstitious. Really good rider. Career cut short by injuries, but we saw him when the jockey signed autographs. He could not have been nicer at that time. All
Ramon
right.
Dominguez also launched to stardom by my good friend Steve Paris, who was a radio sales guy.
Huh.
And another guy we were talking about, my buddy Cliff Collier, was a waiter turned jockey agent. Steve had Ramon Dominguez when he was an apprentice at Calder. And took him up to Delaware Park, and he took off from there. And, of course, as soon as he became prominent enough, some New York agent grabbed him, and that was it. That was the end. Steve ended up at Charlestown, and Dominguez is in the Hall of Fame. But that's the way that business goes. All right, one going for 4.
Right. Golf. The U.S. Open. Tiger Woods won his first U.S. Open in 2000 by 15 strokes at Pebble Beach. Finishing second was Ernie Els and Angel Cabrera, Phil Mickelson, Miguel Angel Jimenez, or Jim Furyk?
Defo's best friend is Furyk, so I'll go with Cabrera.
Right.
Great idea, but it was the other one, Miguel Angel Jimenez. He had the cigar smoking variety.
I love that guy, man. He's great. He has the man bun there sticking out of the hat. Cabrera, by the way, came back and won a senior, I guess it's Champions Tour. Was it the U.S. Open after spending 2.5 years in prison?
With an ankle bracelet on. But
he may have, but it didn't weigh him down too much. He ended up winning. Strange guy. Reminds me very much, I mean, physically and from an attitude standpoint, he reminds me of my buddy Francesco. Same kind of approach. Smoking a cigarette while he's coming up 18 for the Masters. He's a piece of work. But, and Furyk, of course, it was one of those things. You've been in this spot, Dave, where you've been emceeing an event. Have you ever had somebody just all of a sudden take exception to something you said at a roast? Or
oh, yeah.
Furyk, I mean, I never had a look so evil at any time as when I suggested that his swing was a little bit of the unconventional variety.
Joe Faraday said his swing looked like a guy wrestling a snake in a phone booth.
He took the thing way outside. What the hell was that? It looked anything like a pro swing, and the guy looks at me like I'm a complete ass for making this statement there in front of the 30 people that were following him around in this charity event. All right, we now have
One for
a
five.
five-point question going for 6 points.
Yes.
All right, boxing. Believe it or not, in June of 1952, the first sporting event televised nationally was a boxing event where Jersey Joe Walcott beat Ezra Charles in 15 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. It was held where? New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, or Stanton, Delaware?
Yeah, I have no clue on this one. I'm surprised. I'll go with Philly.
Billy.
It was Philadelphia Municipal Stadium. Of course, Stanton, Delaware is the home of Delaware Park. But
All right, you're taking the lead.
well done.
Very nice. Andy leaps out of his hospital bed and takes the lead in the trivia challenge. Pretty outstanding work there by the man. Still obviously has his mental facilities still and capabilities still intact. 954-417-0070 on the phone lines, 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play the game. Gurggles, of course, will be lining up a Perdomo cigar right after the show, I would think.
One of the guys who shot a net 59 on yesterday's round and had an eagle. He's a 20 handicapper. He just played well. You know why? Because while he was there, he bummed a Perdomo cigar off me. I had 4 of them with me. He said, "Oh, I forgot my cigar back in the room. Can you give me one?" He didn't give me part of the winner's share, but you're always a winner when you have a Perdomo cigar. 5150 Northwest 167th Street. Not too late. Father's Day's this weekend. And happy potential Father's Day to Mike Lubie Lubitz, as we say that. All right. 305-627-6700, the number to call. 5150 Northwest 167th Street, the place to go Monday through Friday. Saturday, Sunday, go online, www.perdomocigars.com to find the retailer near you that sells these great cigars. So when my boy Fitzpatrick makes a run this weekend at the U.S. Open, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
All right, continuing the trivia challenge with Dave Gurggles Gergely and Perdomo Cigars. Did anybody check these handicaps? It sounds a little...
No, we know the guy. He's a link style course where it's wide open. It's good for him because he's all over the place. But he can bomb him, and he's no youngster. He's probably 70.
Well, what I like about a links course is a grounder can be a good shot.
That's exactly true. That'll roll forever.
You can hit a 3-hopper to short, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of the fairway. You're in a good position to go ahead and approach the hole. All right, 954-417-0070, the phone line. We're ready for our next set of questions. Here's Dave Gurggles Gergely. Good game.
And I know this guy's a boxing fan. Boxing. This heavyweight champion talking to an upcoming opponent at a press conference said, "If you even dream of beating me, you better wake up and apologize." What's that? The great Muhammad Ali, Gene Ali, Back Ali, or Back to the Future?
All right, here's the scrambler. And, everybody's got rave reviews for George Clooney in his Broadway debut, but this guy could have played the role just as effectively.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
And we go to Pat, great actor. Pat, you're on the Trivia Challenge. Good morning.
Hello, guys. Hey.
Good morning, Mr.
Hey, it's correct. You could have replaced Clooney and done a good job if you were the the fill-in guy on his Broadway show. But he could not have done what you did in that commercial for that thing where you move your feet a little bit and all of a sudden your circulation improves to your brain. What was that thing?
That was a stupid commercial.
He does the one with the feet.
Yeah. I mean, what is that thing called? Because it doesn't look like it does, man, I have to say.
You got him a check. Come on, give him a break.
Yeah, it gets a residual every time it plays. All right, you have 1 point, Pat. You're in the game.
All right, Pat, let's go back to horse racing. 2020, true or false, 2024 and 2025 Belmont Stakes marked the first time since 1926 that the race was not contested at 1.5 miles. True or false?
True.
No.
No.
In 2020, during COVID, they ran it at Belmont because of the training was interrupted, so they ran it at only 1.125 miles. Kind of a tricky one, but that was it.
That was a rough. Right. COVID messed up a lot of things in sports in terms of history. All right, one going for 4, Pat.
All right, golf. Who was the last player to win back-to-back U.S. Opens?
Good question.
Tiger Woods, Bryson DeChambeau, Lee Trevino, or Brooks Koepka?
Trevino.
Lee.
It's Kepka, right?
Kepka did it. Brooks Kepka did it 2017 and 2018.
Yeah, I think Ken asked this.
Is he snorting too much blow now to possibly be a contender again?
Probably.
I'd love to see him in another Panther game. Going for 6 points. It's a tie for the lead, Pat. Otherwise, it's sayonara, and we'll go to the finals.
All right, Pat. Let's see. We got a good one here for on this date in history in 1948. This player set a National League record hitting in 20 for rookies, hitting in 23 straight games. Was it Willie Mays, Chuck Klein, Richie Ashburn, or Smokey Burgess?
Ashburn.
Had to be Richie. Yeah, there we go.
Well done.
All right, hang around, Pat. You're in the finals.
301 as a 62 Met, Richie Ashburn. The next highest batting average, I believe, was 220s, Choo-Choo Coleman on that roster. All right, we have a dead heat for the top spot here. We're going to line up the finals with Andy and Pat. So, Andy, I mean, this is great. Pat probably sitting at home in the comfort of his chair in front of the television set with the U.S. Open on, and Andy in a hospital bed, hoping that the
Pat's got his legs working on that little thing he pushes up and down. So,
would that really do any good, Gurggles? I mean, when you watch that, were you stimulated and motivated to say, you know what, I need one of those? As effective as Pat's performance was in that commercial, I keep looking at that and thinking, what the hell does that really do? I
would buy that before I'd buy that Navarre thing where you got to put water up your nose. So, yeah, I use that definitely.
Isn't that some form of torture that they used to use in Guantanamo? Something along those lines. All right, we're setting up the finals. Another word about Perdomo Cigars here.
Yes, Perdomo Cigars, Father's Day coming up this week. You don't need a special occasion to buy Perdomo Cigars. 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto on the south side, a little bit east of the Home Depot. 305-627-6700, the number to call. I recommend if you're new to cigar smoking, the variety pack, different one of each. If you know what you like, go and get a box. So go see Bruce right there, the concierge, and see 3 generations of making cigars perfect one at a time. Perdomo Cigars, all the best, all the time.
All right, ready for the finals here. It's Andy versus Pat. They both tallied 6. If Andy wins, I guess special consideration should be taken under consideration by us, where we deliver the food to the hospital if he's still in. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, all of a sudden, we bring him a big fat steak from Texas Roadhouse. It'd be awesome.
I can empathize with him. I'll be there Monday.
What, in the hospital?
Yeah, I'm getting a new hip replacement.
Surgery.
Oh, wow, Gurggles.
Yep.
2 for 2. You'll be 2 for 2 with that thing.
I had the left one in 2010, this one 2025, the right one.
Wow, yeah, you are amazing recovery too. Because
the good news with this right one is I won't be able to drive, so it'll keep me away from the track for several weeks.
There's always the phone app. Can get involved there.
Don't mention that. All right.
All right, here we go, guys. Gurgs is going to fire off a question. Call out your name if you want to answer right away. Nobody answers right away. We offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first choice. We go back and forth until we have a winner for the championship of this morning's edition of the Trivia Challenge. Here's Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Good luck, guys. Baseball. On this date in history in 1975, Hank Aaron hit his first home run as a member of the Milwaukee Brewers in a 9-7 win over
Ooh, wow. Anybody? Here's multiple choice.
Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox, or Oakland A's?
Andy, I'll go with the Orioles.
Andy says it's the O's. No. Incorrect. Pat has 3 choices left.
Yanks, Red Sox, or A's? Pat?
Red Sox.
Red Sox.
Red Sox. Incorrect. 2 left for Andy, a 50-50.
Yanks or A's?
A's.
A's.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. From his hospital bed, the man wins a title. Unbelievable.
Hey, Gurgs.
Yes,
Gurgs,
sir.
I'll trade you my left hip for a right kidney and a future heart transplant.
No. I'm going to stay with what I got. I'll work on that.
Right.
We'll just wish each other the best.
We love you, Andy.
Well, Andy. I'm hoping to be back in 2 weeks. Got to get it done, start therapy, and hopefully we can be back here in 2 weeks to see you.
The body part exchange.
I love the transplant to be named later.
Only Andy.
We're dealing organs here. Never mind gift certificates.
All right, Gurg, good luck.
All right, see you guys.
Good luck with everything, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Dave Gurggles Gergely, ladies and gentlemen. So, Andy, nice job there. Coming to you from, I think, Boca West Hospital.
He was, yes.
He wins the thing. They're doing all kinds of stuff to this guy. I don't know. Nothing stops this man. He's amazing. So congratulations on winning the championship. All right, a final thought here, Lubie. You have what? The final score tonight. Panthers, Edmonton Oilers, and where will you? Oh, well, you'll be at Landlubbers watching a game. Now, do you stay there and watch the rest of it, or do you have to hustle home now to your pregnant wife?
No, I come here. I just like watching every game here. I don't know, man. It feels like you would hope they created momentum. They're at home. The crowd was great. They got really into it. The Stars woke up. Barkov wasn't as involved, but he was more involved than he's been. And then the other guys were great. Bob's playing. I don't know. It feels like they found something, and I hate picking against them. So I would say Panthers 3-2, something like that. And they go up 3-1. I don't know. Even though I'm not very confident like you are, I'm sort of in the middle on it. I lean them at this point, the way after the last game.
I don't know. I mean, it's been hard to account for momentum. Edmonton and the Panthers both have tremendous momentum through the playoffs. We have seen the Cats throw in the occasional stinker in the aftermath of what appeared to be a convincing win. In this case, though, I mean, and you were all over this, Lubie. You were talking about the first two games, how the Panthers kind of dominated, even though they lost the first game. They probably shouldn't have been in the position they were in the second game. They did get very, very lucky. I just, if it boils down to goaltending, even though Bobrovsky has been suspect at different times, as you've been talking about, when there's traffic in front of him, you get those pinball machine type of effects where puck goes in off like one of his own guys' skates, bounces around off some guy's back. But in situations where you need a guy to make an incredible stop, he's been great. Breakaways and things of that nature, odd man rushes, vicious slap shots that are taken while he seems to be blinded. It's been really, really strong. And Skinner, suspect early in the playoffs, got benched and then has come back. He bounced back nicely through the first three rounds after getting clobbered in the first couple of games in Los Angeles. And yet, in this series, he's reverted back to being very much a liability, Skinner, in terms of he's not coming up with those incredible saves that you need at big time opportunities. And I guess he did to some extent in the first
game. Yeah.
But the last game, he was horrendous. He was showing signs of unraveling, I think. So,
yes.
From a goaltending standpoint, of course, Bobrovsky. 4-0 Edmonton. There's my score. What the hell do we know? I mean, it's amazing how we.
I think the Oilers are going to rebound. I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm curious to see if the Panthers can bring their aggressive nature. If they can, then the Oilers in the end will be frustrated. Again, the Panthers will go up 3-1. At this point, we've seen them ebb and flow too much for me to presume what we're going to see tonight.
Yeah. My last memory of being at a Panther game, Brett Tesler, the agent to the Stars, has seats like right on the glass in the corner. Nice. So he's got 4 seats. He invites the Mustang and me to go with him and his lovely wife, Lonnie. Forget who they were playing, but it was sort of late in the season a couple of years ago. And I have a book out about marital relationships. Thank God I was broke at the time, because it deals with divorce and the aftermath of a relationship that goes south. I wasn't exactly flush with cash at this point. I think we had been out of that radio thing for a couple of years, and it wasn't really going as well as it should have been. Things, the sponsors were drying up, all kinds of crazy stuff was happening. So because he's got these fabulous tickets, I naturally had to buy the first round of drinks. And I'm standing at, they had like a bar. It wasn't at the concession stands, but it was in front of the concession stands. And of course, I know the bartender, so I know I'm going to have to give a rather generous tip. I mean, the last thing you want is a guy to be shouting, "That's Defo, that cheap bastard," as you're walking, to your seats. And I never forget the sticker shock I experienced there. Now, I knew these drinks were going to be expensive, Lubie, but I believe everybody had a double vodka.
Oh, Jesus.
And I think it was over $30 a copy on the drinks.
Oh, you doubled, yeah.
So I get hit with a charge of $120, and then look, well, I've got to leave the guy at least a 20, no? So it was $140. It was more than the tickets on the glass, I think,
Yes.
to have 4 watered down drinks. I mean, even with a double shot, that isn't much. I mean, I want a half a glass of vodka for that at least, and maybe just take it straight up. But yeah, I still remember standing there in stunned disbelief that I was going to have to shell out that kind of money. And then they hit you with the thing that it's cash only. I mean, credit card only, no cash.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like that, Louis. I don't know.
I never use cash, so it's fine with me.
See, yeah. I mean, that's true in a lot of the county facilities also, where you go to like the Parker Playhouse and you're getting robbed at the concession stands. It's costing you $70 for a pretzel and a soda. And then they tell you, oh, no, we don't take cash. You're like, well, then what the hell am I supposed to pay for this with?
Exactly.
Perhaps you could take these back, even though I've already taken a sip of the soda and a bite out of the pretzel. All right, good luck to the Panthers tonight. Hope you don't get clobbered at the concession stands.
Julia is letting you know where she stands.
Well, it's appropriate that you brought in a live cat.
My cat is very, I guess after that last game, she doesn't like my feelings. She wants everyone to know she's
I like that she showed you her ass right here on that.
She's very pro cat. She's like, listen, you jerk off. Just because you're not confident doesn't mean I'm not.
Was that a sign from the gods of gambling, Lubie?
I don't know.
How do we interpret that?
In months.
You have a litter box on your desk there?
No, she doesn't. She's not even that affectionate. She like is very independent. So this is super weird. It's like she heard me.
All cats. Yeah.
She's like she heard me besmirching the Panthers and was like, "Listen, you jerk off. Like, be more confident." That was a great performance.
Pastor has done today, bringing a live cat.
My cat is giving her 2 cents.
All right, we're going to get out of here.
Let's go.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll have a Degenerate Friday. The professor will join us. We'll have a big board for you. That's always a highlight of our week.
Yes.
And we appreciate you guys tuning in today. We do have an interview up, Louis DeCubis, on our conversations. Louis talked a lot of boxing. Man, he rattled off some stuff. Was the guy, I thought he had brought Duran into prominence in the U.S., but he actually took over his career after everybody thought he was a shot fighter.
He brought him back.
Resurrected him from the grave. So it was kind of interesting, some of the stories he had to tell about that. You can catch that on Conversations. We put that show up yesterday here on Bleacher Brothers. All right, for Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, everybody. And good luck to the Florida Panthers tonight, trying to take a 3-1 lead over Edmonton. I don't want to have to sweat this series, Lubie. I really don't. But the point now, I just want it to end in 5 games. That's it.
Yeah, well, obviously. That'd be wonderful.
Let's get it over with. All right, see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
Can't take the nerves anymore. It's 9:04.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what the